Welcome to Modern Crime Scope, your go-to destination for gripping true crime stories, shocking investigations, and real-life mysteries. We uncover the dark secrets behind the headlines and bring you every twist and turn in high-quality, captivating documentaries. Mark Sullivan's seemingly perfect life shattered when cops uncovered his RV of horrors, revealing a secret world of terror hidden behind the mask of a devoted father. The town of Cedar Pines had always seemed like the perfect place to live. Tree-lined streets, quiet cul-de-sacs, and neighbors who exchanged smiles and friendly greetings created an atmosphere of safety and comfort. Children played freely in front yards, and the local shops buzzed with small-town life. To outsiders, nothing seemed out of place, yet behind the neatly trimmed lawns and white picket fences, darkness had quietly crept into the life of one family, hidden beneath a veneer of normalcy. Mark Sullivan was known to everyone as a devoted father and hard-working man. He drove a well-worn RV, which he said allowed him to travel for work while keeping his children close. Friends in the community saw him as reliable, his cheerful demeanor masking any hint of trouble. But not everyone was convinced. Some residents had noticed odd behaviors. Mark rarely stayed in one place for long, often moving at unusual hours, and sometimes his children seemed uneasy when visitors arrived. The unease was subtle, almost imperceptible, and most people dismissed it as overthinking. Yet to a trained eye, these small details formed a troubling pattern. The investigation began with an anonymous tip. Authorities were warned that Mark's RV, which seemed like an ordinary vehicle, might conceal something sinister. Initially, the report was treated cautiously. Anonymous tips were often unreliable, but the details were precise enough to raise concerns. It wasn't just about a moving father or a private family. Something about the message hinted at danger. Officers decided it warranted a discreet check, sending a small team to observe the RV's location before taking any action. The vehicle was parked on the edge of a remote campground, surrounded by dense trees and the faint smell of pine. At first glance, it looked like any other RV. Weathered paint, faded decals, and a small satellite dish perched on the roof. But the closer the officers approached, the more something felt off. A faint, unpleasant odor lingered around the tires, a smell that seemed almost unnatural in its intensity. Shadows stretched long in the late afternoon sun, making the RV look larger and more foreboding than it truly was. From behind the curtains, officers thought they saw movement, subtle and fleeting. Like the vehicle itself was alive and aware of their presence. Every instinct screamed caution. The reinforced side door and the locks, unlike any standard RV, suggested Mark had taken measures to control who entered. It was more than secrecy. It was preparation, a careful arrangement to protect something hidden within. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, the campground took on an eerie stillness. The air was thick with anticipation, and the investigators knew that whatever lay inside the RV was likely far from ordinary. They sensed that opening the door would reveal not just a hidden life, but a world carefully concealed from everyone outside. The calm town of Cedar Pines, so accustomed to safety, was on the brink of a revelation that would shake its foundations, exposing a secret that no one could have imagined. The officers moved cautiously around the RV, their eyes scanning every detail for anything out of place. The campground was silent, almost unnaturally so, as if the trees themselves were holding their breath. Footsteps crunched softly on the gravel, each sound amplified in the heavy stillness. The reinforced side door caught the team's attention immediately. Unlike a normal RV, the lock was sturdy, industrial, almost like the entrance to a vault. The investigators exchanged glances, each understanding the unspoken truth. Whatever was inside, it wasn't something Mark wanted anyone to see. With tactical precision, they prepared to enter. Cameras in hand, they documented the exterior, noting every window, seam, and latch. The faint movement behind the curtains continued, a subtle, almost ghostly flutter that made their skin crawl. As one officer gently pulled back the fabric, the interior appeared deceptively normal at first glance. Sunlight filtered through the small windows, illuminating a surprisingly clean space. But as the team stepped inside, the odor they had noticed outside became stronger, a mix of chemical and decay that immediately set off alarms. The interior revealed a chilling contrast. The RV was orderly, almost painstakingly neat, yet every detail hinted at something deeply wrong. Cabinets and compartments were lined with padding, some of them locked or hidden from plain view. Boxes were stacked with meticulous care, each labeled in a code no one outside Mark's mind could immediately understand. Tools, ropes, and restraints were carefully arranged, not scattered or messy, suggesting someone had spent hours planning their placement. It was a space designed for control, not comfort. In one corner, investigators noticed a small desk with journals and photographs scattered across it. The images were unsettling, children in various settings, always unknowing of the camera capturing them. Pages of notes detailed patterns, routines, and movements written in precise, clinical handwriting. The level of organization made it clear that Mark had spent years building this private world. Hidden in plain sight, a twisted sanctuary shielded from the world outside. Every item seemed to tell a story, a calculated narrative that exposed his methodical approach to his crimes. As they moved further in, the RV felt increasingly like a maze. Secret compartments revealed additional items, surveillance cameras, recording devices, and carefully stored materials that suggested long-term planning. The team realized this wasn't a single impulsive act, but a life constructed around secrecy and manipulation. Each step forward heightened the sense of unease, the confined space magnifying every sound, the hum of the fridge, the creak of the floorboards, even the rustle of papers as they documented evidence. Despite the fear creeping through the investigators, they pressed on, determined to uncover every corner of the RV. Every drawer opened, every compartment inspected, confirmed the grim truth. Mark Sullivan had created a mobile chamber of horrors, meticulously designed to evade detection and carry out acts that defied imagination. The realization struck hard. This was only the beginning. The depth of his depravity was yet to be fully revealed, and the team braced themselves for what they might discover next, knowing that the quiet town of Cedar Pines would never look the same again. As the investigation inside the RV continued, the team uncovered evidence that made even seasoned officers uneasy. Photographs scattered across the desk and tucked into secret compartments depicted children in ordinary settings: playgrounds, birthday parties, school events. At first, the images seemed harmless, almost mundane, until the team noticed a disturbing pattern. Each photo was carefully labeled with dates, locations, and seemingly trivial notes that, when pieced together, revealed the movements of the children over weeks and months. It was a meticulously organized record, a predatory map disguised as documentation. In addition to the photographs, journals filled the RV. Each page contained detailed observations of behaviors, routines, and schedules, all written in precise clinical handwriting. The entries described the ways Mark studied his victims, noting the times they left home, who accompanied them, and how they responded to various situations. There was no trace of empathy or remorse, only calculation. It became clear that he had constructed a system to control not only the RV, but the lives of the children he had chosen as targets. The more the investigators explored, the more layers of his planning became evident. Hidden compartments contained surveillance equipment, miniature cameras, recording devices, and even listening tools that had been installed in areas frequented by his victims. Digital storage devices revealed encrypted files and carefully organized folders, each containing records of his movements and interactions. Every element pointed to a man who had spent years perfecting a method that allowed him to operate in plain sight while keeping the truth entirely hidden. Evidence of manipulation surfaced as the forensic team analyzed communications. Emails and social media messages indicated that Mark had cultivated trust with families, posing as a mentor, friend, or harmless neighbor. His charming persona was a mask, concealing the cold, methodical predator beneath. Every digital trace revealed careful planning, showing how he positioned himself to gain access to his victims without raising suspicion. Even deletion logs indicated he had repeatedly erased signs of his presence, leaving almost no digital footprint. The officers realized that the RV itself was a central component of his plan. Its compartments, padding, and hidden sections were not mere curiosities. They were instruments of control, designed to keep victims contained, watched, and manipulated. The RV's mobility allowed him to operate across towns, evading law enforcement and community scrutiny while maintaining his network of deception. As the team pieced together the scope of his activities, a chilling sense of scale emerged. Mark Sullivan had spent years hiding in plain sight, leveraging trust, technology, and meticulous organization to commit acts that would horrify anyone who saw the truth. The photographs, journals, and devices were only the beginning, clues that hinted at deeper secrets still waiting to be uncovered. The investigators understood that what lay ahead could be even darker than what they had seen. Every discovery inside that RV confirmed a terrifying reality. A man they had once thought was ordinary had constructed a mobile world of control, secrecy, and horror, and the full extent of his crimes was only beginning to surface. The investigation into Mark Sullivan's RV quickly escalated beyond the team's initial expectations. What had started as a tip about suspicious behavior transformed into a full-scale operation, uncovering a network of deception that stretched across towns. Digital forensics revealed encrypted communications, hidden online profiles, and carefully deleted messages, all pointing to a calculated predator who had used technology as a tool to manipulate and control. Every message, every file hinted at the careful orchestration behind his actions. The most horrifying discovery, however, lay hidden beneath the RV's floorboards. A small, reinforced compartment had been constructed with precision, accessible only through a concealed panel. Inside, the investigators found a child, alive but terrified, a stark reminder of the reality behind the photographs and journals. The child's presence confirmed what the team had feared. All along, Mark Sullivan SRV was not just a mobile office for observation. It was a chamber of control, a vessel designed to confine and terrorize. The RV's interior revealed further evidence of long-term planning. The hidden room contained items for comfort, food, and even basic hygiene, suggesting that the child had been kept there for weeks. Documentation indicated that this was not a one-time incident. The predator had developed a system to maintain secrecy while sustaining his captives. It was a methodical routine, executed with chilling attention to detail, demonstrating how carefully he had structured his mobile prison. Beyond the compartment, investigators discovered additional tools of manipulation. The RV was equipped with hidden cameras, strategically positioned to monitor both the interior and exterior. Microphones, small enough to evade detection, allowed Mark to track movements and conversations outside the vehicle. The level of surveillance revealed a predator who did not leave anything to chance, someone who anticipated every scenario and planned accordingly. The digital footprint uncovered by forensic experts expanded the scope of the investigation further. Social media accounts revealed Mark had posed as a trustworthy figure within communities, befriending parents, volunteering at events, and cultivating a reputation that made suspicion almost impossible. Online activity indicated he had targeted families across multiple towns, often moving before anyone realized his intentions. The combination of his charm, planning, and technological savvy made him both elusive and dangerous. As authorities continued to document the evidence, the reality of the situation sank in. The RV, once viewed as a simple vehicle, had been a carefully engineered instrument of terror. Mark's meticulous organization, the hidden compartments, the encrypted communications, and the live captive all underscored a life spent operating in plain sight while committing unimaginable crimes. The team knew that uncovering these layers was only the beginning. Every discovery deepened the horror, revealing a man who had built a mobile world of secrecy, control, and manipulation, leaving investigators and the community to confront a chilling truth. The danger had been closer than anyone could have imagined, hiding in the most ordinary of places. Mark Sullivan's arrest sent shockwaves through Cedar Pines. A man once seen as a devoted father and trustworthy neighbor was now revealed as a calculated predator, and the town struggled to process the betrayal. Police escorted him from the RV, each step carefully documented, as neighbors and officials watched in disbelief. The evidence collected inside the vehicle, the journals, photographs, hidden compartments, and surveillance equipment, was overwhelming, painting a picture of a life spent meticulously planning and executing crimes that had remained hidden for years. The child rescued from the hidden compartment received immediate care and support from Child Protection Services. Authorities were cautious and deliberate, understanding that trauma like this could last a lifetime. Interviews and assessments revealed the child had endured weeks of confinement, constant monitoring, and manipulation. Yet their survival was a testament to resilience and bravery in the face of unspeakable terror. The discovery emphasized the gravity of Mark's actions, turning what was once an abstract fear into a very real, tangible horror. As the legal process began, prosecutors presented the evidence in painstaking detail. The journals, photographs, and encrypted files formed the backbone of the case, showing not only intent, but a long-term pattern of predation. The courtroom was filled with a tense silence as each piece of evidence was laid out, forcing the community to confront the horrifying truth. Mark's calm demeanor contrasted sharply with the chaos he had caused, highlighting the depth of his detachment and the calculated nature of his crimes. Investigators traced Mark's movements across multiple towns, uncovering further evidence of manipulation and surveillance. He had used his RV to maintain mobility and anonymity, evading law enforcement while continuing to cultivate trust in new communities. The complexity of his network demonstrated an alarming level of sophistication, reinforcing that the danger had been hidden in plain sight. The full extent of his crimes slowly emerged, shocking even the most experienced officers. In the aftermath, Cedar Pines faced the difficult task of healing. Families came together to discuss safety measures, awareness, and vigilance, determined to ensure that such a betrayal could not happen again. Support networks were strengthened. Schools implemented stricter security protocols, and residents became more cautious while maintaining the sense of community that had once defined the town. The RV, once a vessel of horror, became a symbol of the hidden dangers that could exist behind ordinary appearances, a stark reminder of the importance of vigilance and awareness. Mark Sullivan's conviction was swift and decisive. With multiple counts of kidnapping, child endangerment, and possession of disturbing materials carrying significant sentences. While justice provided closure for some, the psychological and emotional scars endured by the victims and community members would take much longer to heal. The case served as a chilling reminder that danger could hide in the most ordinary places, and that courage, persistence, and careful observation by law enforcement were crucial in uncovering the darkest secrets. Cedar Pines would never forget the terror of the RV, but the bravery of the child, the diligence of the officers, and the eventual justice delivered stood as a testament to resilience in the face of evil.